Hi, Dale Titus here with today's 2-minute bass lesson. I've been getting a lot of emails about using your plucking hand and what's better, 2 fingers, 1 finger, 3 fingers, picks. You know, really it's such a personal choice, and if someone would say, oh, you have to only do it this way, you could always find examples of successful bass players who've done it other ways. Heck, Billy Sheehan can play with all 4 fingers. That guy's a freak. I love it. I mean, how else can you play something like Elephant Gun off the David Lee Roth album without doing that kind of technique? I favor primarily, 99% of the time, I use just 2 fingers alternating, and I can show you how to develop that. But please, no angry emails. I'm not saying this is the way. This is just one way. You can do anything. You can play with picks. You can use 3 fingers. Steve Bailey, Gary Willis. These are great guys who can just shred with 3 fingers. Heck, Sting uses his thumb a lot now when he plays. So really, it's just whatever technique you feel comfortable with. If you want to work on 2-finger alternating, then I'll show you a couple exercises that can help. One thing, when I isolate and want to work on my right hand plucking, I actually turn my bass off. I don't want the amplified signal. What I want to hear, and I mute the strings. I just want to get a thunk. Now I'll go ahead and turn my bass up so you can hear what I'm hearing, but I just want to hear the clunk. So I mute the strings. And simply, the best way to start is just to play twice on each string, up to the G string, and then back down. Now, I'm going to give you some suggestions. Again, they're not written in stone. But first of all, first question I get, should I start with index finger or middle finger? It doesn't matter. I subscribe to a really popular, I think, view about alternating is that you want to be consistent as much as possible. You can break the rules for effect, but when you're going from the low strings to the high strings, it makes sense. You know, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. That's actually much faster if you try to go index, middle, middle, index. You know, that just is kind of awkward. Now, where the controversy can come is when you're going from the treble strings to the bass side strings. And there's a thing called gliding, where some guys will go index, middle. Now their middle finger's right there, why not play middle, index, index, middle, middle, index? And you absolutely can. The only reason I don't is when I was at BIT as a student, I was having a hard time articulating some really quick phrases. And I remember, I believe it was Jeff Berlin, don't quote me on that, but one of the instructors took me aside and said, you know, you might want to really focus on not gliding because I think it's tripping you up. And I thought, that's funny. But he made a really good point. When you're running downstairs, you'd never think to go left foot, right foot, left foot, left foot. You would trip. And he thought that maybe that was what was holding me back. Now in this particular case, I isolated and worked on it, and sure enough, I believe I was doing some bebop heads, some Charlie Parker heads. And by working that out, I actually was better at playing these really rapid descending lines. So let's just show you how I practice that. So we already talked about going up to the G string. When I come down, I just focus and make sure I'm going index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. Again, I'm not advocating this is all the time, because you'll notice sometimes when I'm playing on previous videos, I might change that up for a special pattern that I'm working on or for an effect, because gliding does kind of have a cool sound. I mean, oh man, Tim Bogert, Tim Bogert, Billy Sheehan, both these guys, if you watch them, they'll use gliding with a massive effect. So I want you to have control of it, I guess is what I'm saying. Work it out so that you can opt to glide or you not. Or if you're having problems with the passage and you're gliding, maybe you can switch your brain and try consistent alternating and see if that helps out. A couple of things quickly that you could work on is skipping strings, because we do that as bass players with like octave riffs and things like that. So you play twice on the E string, twice on the D, twice on the A, and twice on the G. And just kind of work that out. Make sure you stay with consistent alternating for this exercise. Okay. Now if you want to kind of go for the bonus round and for the trip to Hawaii, you can take 2 strings and do a triplet. Now a triplet is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what you do is you play twice on the E string and then play the last note of the triplet on the A string. Now watch what happens. I know it's going to be difficult to see with the camera angle, but you're going to go index, middle, index. Now if I want to repeat, then I go middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. And see how by alternating that way, every time I go to the A string I'm using a different finger. And that's that's kind of a cool exercise, and you can get really fast because you're really just doing this. Instead of, if I were to go index, middle, index, index, middle, index, index, I can't do that. And I've met guys who can, and they're blazing fast, and more power to them. I'm just giving you an opportunity to try something different. So right hand alternating, just try it, get control of it. Again, I'm not saying this is the one and only way, but what I really wish for everybody out there is that when you choose a technique, it's because you want it for an effect. It's not because it's the only way you know how to play. So if you only can glide, you might run into things that are difficult. So by developing your alternating, you can maybe navigate that back and then go back to gliding for a different pattern. So there you have it, right hand alternating drills. Practice them out, not crazy. I mean, just do like 5 minutes every time you sit down. It's a good thing to do right when you sit down because it does warm up your hands. And then report back to me and let me know how it works and see if maybe I can do a follow-up lesson with maybe some more advanced patterns. So thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, please email me at dalet@dannybbgoods.com. Thanks a lot.